Thank you for joining me on Christine's Awesome Things, and today I'm going to be making a pecan pie. It was a request from my daughter's client to make this pie. Pecan pie is really easy to make. The earliest recipe for pecan pie dates back to the 1800s, 1886 I believe. Some believe that it was even before then. Pecan pie did originate in the United States when Europeans migrated here. They were figuring out what to do with the pecan trees, and they came up with this recipe. It is very simple. You're going to need a pie crust. It needs to be a deep dish. If you're making your pie crust from scratch, don't use a pie pan. Use a cake pan and line your pie crust in the cake pan. That is how you would get a deep dish pie crust. Also, when you make your pie crust, you want to make sure you do what's called doking, which is poking holes in the crust to aerate it so it doesn't bubble and everything. Your pecans, you're going to need 1 cup of pecans, and you're going to place them pecans at the bottom of your pie crust. When you pour your filling in, your pecans are going to rise to the top. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. By the time you put the recipe together, your oven will be preheated. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel as well. First thing you're going to do with your filling, since you have your pie crust and your deep dish pie crust, and you've put your pecans in the bottom of your pie pan on top of your pie crust, you're going to make your filling. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of white sugar, 3 eggs. You want to beat your eggs, a tablespoon of pure vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon, I'm sorry, not a tablespoon, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a cup of Karo syrup. I like to use the dark Karo syrup. Some people use light Karo syrup. If you use the light Karo syrup, you're going to end up using brown sugar. With this recipe, if you buy the dark Karo syrup, it's darker. It gives a nuttier flavor, a little bit heavier. If you use the light brown, the light corn syrup, you're going to end up having to use brown sugar, and you're going to need 3 tablespoons of melted butter. You're going to put those. Alright, sorry about that. I had to cut out for a second to go get me a whisk. Anyway, to recap, you're going to need 1/2 cup of white sugar, a cup of corn syrup. I used the dark corn syrup, 3 tablespoons of melted butter, a teaspoon of pure vanilla, and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 3 beaten eggs. And you want to mix all those ingredients together. Make sure you incorporate them well. Once you've mixed them really well, making sure that everything is dissolved in there, you're going to pour this filling into your pie crust. And as I said, the pecans will rise to the top. And they are already rising to the top. Now, once you pour your filling into your pie crust, you're going to put your entire pie onto a cookie sheet and bake it at 350 degrees for 50 minutes. When you place your cookie sheet, when you place your pecan pie mixture on the cookie sheet, you want to put it in the oven on the bottom rack. And again, you're going to cook it for 50 minutes. It's going to basically make it in kind of a pudding-like texture. Okay, so I'll be back with you in 50 minutes. after your pie has been in the oven for 50 minutes and you take it out, you want to let it cool for at least 2 hours to let it settle and everything. When it's cooking, it's going to puff up. You're going to be wondering if it's done or not. After 50 minutes, I guarantee you it's done. It's going to be a little firm texture in the middle when it first come out. You want this to set for 2 hours, because with pecan pie, it's sort of like a custard. Okay, if you try to cut into it or anything while it's warm, that custard inside is going to start melting all over the place. It's not set. Let it cool for 2 hours before cutting into it.